I cannot tell you the amount of time I've had to remind my own daughter that she needs to be patient when food is being prepared, or when she's trying to learn something new for the first time, or when her mother or I are busy with some other task and aren't available to help her right at that moment. And yet, no matter how many times we remind her to be patient, she has a hard time with it, often responding to our request for patience with, "But I can't, Daddy." This, of course, has made me wonder about where her impatience comes from. Is it a reflection of her mother and I? Are we more impatient than we would like to admit? Does the impatience come from society? With smartphones that can allow us to order anything we want with the touch of a finger? With fast food drive-thrus that allow us to pick up dinner on the way home from work? With entertainment like Netflix that allows us to use the remote in order to find a movie or a TV show in just seconds and with no commercials? With any number of prescription drugs that seem to be a quote-unquote fix for any ailment? With speedy cars that can get us from point A to point B in a matter of minutes or hours? And with tons of information available, whether it is fake or real, but available to us instantly with the click of the mouse through the World Wide Web, it is clear that we very much live in an instant gratification society. Is my daughter, already 4 years old, just going with the flow of society? Or are we born with a sense of impatience? Whatever the reason, it is clear that a lot of us don't like to be patient, and we don't like to wait on anything. Yet we all know the saying. Usually we heard it from our parents growing up. Good things come to those who wait. And we also know the truth, that to be good at something means waiting and taking a lot of time to practice. Yo-Yo Ma wasn't born with the gift to play his cello. He had to work hard and practice every day. Anyone who plays golf or has attempted to play golf will tell you that it takes a lot of practice just to be able to hit the ball relatively straight. And I should know, after 12 years of playing golf, I still can't hit it straight. Even Michael Jordan, Mark Twain, Meryl Streep, and Albert Einstein would tell us that they had to practice in order to become good at their crafts. So why is it we have a hard time waiting? Why is it we don't want to put in the time needed for growth to happen? There is a reason the Israelites spent 40 years wandering in the wilderness before entering the land of milk and honey. And there is a reason Jesus needed to spend 40 days and nights in the wilderness before he began his ministry. There is a reason growing in faith and growing in relationship with God takes time. Believe it or not, we have a lot of free will, and God does not force God's self upon us. Yes, God will be there to help break down anything that would separate us from Him. But God usually will wait until we are ready. For God is patient. And so as we begin to listen for God, to go on this wilderness journey with the hope that our false self will be put to rest so that we can find our true selves in God's presence, we need to remember that it will take time, that it will take patience, that it will take practice, that it will take a willingness on our part to make a space in the busyness of our lives for God to commune with us. You know, it is also quite countercultural to just sit in silence. I would think that most of us would probably be uncomfortable with a long period of silence. Perhaps it's because our brains can process this information so fast. Perhaps it's because our days are filled up with lots of noise from traffic and sirens, People talking, phones ringing, keyboards typing, fingers tapping on screens, TVs trying to bid for our attention, radios giving us the news and opinions on the news, washing machines buzzing, and refrigerators grinding. And yet, I cannot tell you how many times I hear the longing from people who just want to go off the grid for a while, to unplug and get away from it all. So why don't we? Is it because of the busyness of our schedules? Is it because of expectations? Is it because we have forgotten how to slow down? Believe it or not, taking intentional time to practice listening for God is a gift. Not only does it force us to become patient, but it also requires that we do unplug and get away from it all. For the best way to listen for God is to be in the presence of silence. Even if it is only for 20 minutes a day, every other day, or just a few times a week, it is time that we intentionally give up to God, and it is time that God promises to be in communion with us. And what God brings to those times of silence is a sense of peace and a sense of priority. For when we take time to listen for God, God will direct us to that which is life-giving and away from that which will only drain us and destroy us. After all, God did not come in the powerful wind, nor in the earthquake, nor in the fire. But God was present in the sheer silence. Be still and know that I am God. In the same way, when our lives become so chaotic that they can echo earthquakes and fires at times, one of the ways we can get through those times is to spend time in silence, listening for God. For as we saw with Elijah, God will be there. And God will bring us life-giving word. Because in that silence, the only one who can speak that life-giving word to us is God. And God always